Week number 2 of college football is in the books, and week 3 is coming up this weekend. Let's recap with my picks and see how we did last weekend. So last week I went a reasonable 3 out of 5 for my picks. The one that was really confusing was the Utah pick. They were really sluggish in the first half and then exploded in the second half and won the game handily. But that was the one that was really, I thought that was a really slow game for them. The second was the Hawaii-Oregon State game. That was the revenge game from last year with the recruiting and all that stuff that went on with Oregon State. They won by 3, which is great. Hawaii won the game, but they didn't cover the 6.5 points. On the other hand, the lock of the week, the Washington State, with the 37 points, came through and did win. I was watching this game, and the first half was really tight. Northern Colorado was playing very well. But in the second half, much like a lot of teams right now, they make these adjustments at halftime, and the second half, Washington State just blew them out of the water. The other game that came through for us was the Tulsa game. Tulsa really had a good time with San Jose State. As predicted, San Jose State is they're just a basement cellar dweller type team, and Tulsa came in and took care of business with that one. The last pick was the Mars Hill visiting the VMI Cadets. VMI beat them by 42 points, and the spread was 16.5. So that was a big victory. Saw that one coming. It just looked at a place when you're looking at a Division II taking on an FCS school. So now that week 2 is over, let's have a look at week 3 and see what looks good. Look at the early games that came out just on Sunday night, and some of the opening lines have already moved big for this one. Maryland was a 6.5 point favorite against Temple when it came out. It's already gone up 2 points to 8.5 because people are loving the Maryland offense that's come out of nowhere. And Temple, while they've beaten a couple teams, they've been really lower division teams that you can't really get a good gauge on. So I think the public is really looking at Maryland to light the scoreboard up again. Ohio State, 15-point favorite against Indiana. And much like Temple, Indiana just does not have the victories against good teams. Ohio State, we've seen what they just did to Cincinnati, who was a respectable team. Air Force is going into Colorado. Colorado is coming off 2 fantastic victories. Their in-state rival, Colorado State, and Nebraska, who they just beat last week. Air Force, not as strong a team this year, so I think Colorado is going to cover that by 3 easy. Louisville, 9-point favorite against Western Kentucky. If the same Louisville team shows up that played Notre Dame, that was much improved, marched down the field and scored right on their first drive, if that team shows up, they're going to have a fairly easy time taking down the toppers in this one. And lastly, Kansas State at Mississippi State. Kansas State, 2 real cupcake victories. They are not expected to have good things happening this year. Mississippi State is they're strong, a strong SEC team that I think is going to handle this 8.5 point favorite. And those are the early games that I saw that just jumped off the page. And I'll be back on Friday with my picks for the week 3.